buzzing and I ain't stone, but I'm riding, flying higher than the blue sky. If you don't like me, brother, that's okay. I ain't gonna let it wreck my day. I keep styling, smiling, handing out the sunshine. I got no good reason why. Damn, it feels good to be me. See, slay back in my color supreme. I'll be alright. Rolling these streets all summer long. Damn, I got it all figured out. I got no worries that I'm worried about. It's like I caught some crazy happiness. Okay. Today is January the 5th, 2022. I'll just do the updates real fast, and then we'll get started. I do have 2 Facebook pages. I have 2 Facebook pages that I do feed this stream to, or I will put other videos up on those other Facebook pages that has to do with some of the expeditions or the scouting areas that we've done. So I don't always will have the video here, but I will do the live streaming here. But if you haven't got on those pages yet, they would be beneficial. Like I did post some before. I don't think I can get them on here yet. Not until I get them on YouTube, then switched over. But the 2 Facebook group pages that I have on on Facebook is Oklahoma Bigfoot Predator Watch, in parentheses, antlers and surrounding areas. I also have Choctaw Missing and Murdered Woman, WOMBMAN, and Sun Center and Database. I do use those pages for information for the missing murdered and for the updates on Bigfoot activity in the Oklahoma area. So I was having some talks with some people, and we got to speaking about characteristics of predators, and that the common mistake that people make is that Bigfoots may or may not be good or bad or evil as they are. The common mistake is that any of them are good. They're not good. None of them. They are a mask. They are a predator in a mask with the body of us. Now this body and this face that is used, it is half of it has the facial characteristics. It also has the hands and the front part of the feet. But they use puppies, dogs, and things like that, animals, to lure people, to lure children into the woodlands. They stalk people, they parallel people. There's many people who have stories, and then there's people who don't come back, who are missing. These creatures, whenever you hear their screams or their calls, they learned that. Uh, the Bigfoot before them didn't teach them that. They learn that on their own, to scream like a woman, to call like a baby. We'll also get into trapping Bigfoots, how to trap a Bigfoot if you want to trap a Bigfoot. There are many ways to trap Bigfoot. How we could do that if we wanted to, we just needed the funding to do that. It is expensive to trap Bigfoots. You have to build very strong traps. But they also premeditate their abductions, whether it's animals, trapping animals, um, horses, cows, people, farm animals, and pets. They do premeditate when and if they are going to take somebody. You don't just stumble up onto a Bigfoot. You don't just stumble up onto a decoy into a trap. We also see people pulling over if they have a glance or see a Bigfoot. That is a trap also. But that mask that the Bigfoot uses is from generations of eating people. Our people had called them face eaters because the face would be used later. The offspring of the creatures of these predators would have the face. They were just eating the faces, they were eating the entire body, but it was the DNA that um, gave them the name the face eaters. We also had the bone pickers. They would come in when the bodies were left out or even buried. They would dig up the they were called bone pickers also. We have them in our stories. Bigfoots have always been in our stories. Now, we're going to be on a show, or I was asked to possibly be on a show. You don't know if I'm going to be or not. I was interviewed by Native Chalk Talk, and the part where I was interviewed was not aired. It was way too much information. They was looking for somebody to say that the Bigfoots were like Harry and the Hendersons, and I told them no, they're not anything like that. So that was that was not used either. So if you are going to catch a Bigfoot, if you want to catch a Bigfoot, uh, you make if you want to catch a Bigfoot live, then you build a trap for an opportunist. If you just need to get the Bigfoot out, or it's harmed, and you know, or it may be stalking, you would build a trap for a predator. A trap for a predator is like a deadfall. It's a collapsible trap with spikes. And this is if you have to kill one or if uh, you're being tracked. Build a collapsible trap and bait it. But you build a trap for an opportunist. Um, Now there are tribes that has called these predators, these creatures, big brother or protectors of the woods or keepers of the woods, but that's not what we call them. Here we have words like darkness, death, big hairy stink monkey man, um, But none of our stories tell that they were good or were ever good. They're stories of sharing areas, as long as they kept their distance. But these are predators. You can't share territory or food with a predator. But they don't have any good history with our people. There's been many people who ask or have given opinions worldwide to people asking questions about Bigfoots. There's people giving opinions who don't know the truth or the true history of the origin of the Bigfoot will always give the wrong answers. And we see this all the time. We see people um, going out wood knocking, yelling, making calls, leaving bait, cooking out there, and areas like that. So we're very happy that a lot of people made it back. But those are things that we don't do. Um, a lot of places where these Bigfoots have been spotted or killed or have used as feeding grounds. There's the cover ups. We talked to a gentleman, uh, Keith Crabtree, and he gave us the information about the slaughterhouse story. And that story is that uh, a hunter had walked up on an area that had human clothing and blood, and uh, it was a place where people were brought and eaten. And so they had this bar up there where they would hang people, hang meat. So the hunter made it back to town, and he told his friend, who was a police in the area, and his friend took him back out there, and he showed him. He said, "Now, 100 yards back that way is where this happened." So the friend who was a police informed higher ups, as you would say. Then the black helicopters came in. The black military in the uniforms came in. Everything was covered up. Things were cemented. Um, and when the hunter asked his friend again, whatever came of that area, the friend who was a police officer at that time uh, said, "What area?" Basically, there's no more talking about what happened in that area. But since we've been out, and like I said, this is like the second day that we've really been back. Uh, People's back home again. We do have more areas that we have to scout and track, and that's coming up, and we're doing as much as we can right now. And we do have other friends coming in town, like we talked about yesterday. Two or three friends will be in town soon. We will be doing some more tracking and catching up on those areas. We do have more areas to track. It will be good to see them. But we have noticed in all the areas that we have tracked, and every place that we have tracked, we have found Bigfoot activity. There's not one place that we haven't found it around the towns and everything. The last 2 years has been picking up. The activity has been really active the last 2 years. Um, I was informing a lot of people who didn't believe in Bigfoot at that time, but now most are coming around to at least entertaining the idea because there are so many sightings now and activity that it's hard to ignore. Plus, the deer population, the hog population, the wildlife population has all dwindled here in this area. But and also the activity of the Bigfoots have rose up. We have noticed they're getting bolder and bolder. They're going around more homes, more houses. They're looking into windows We've been getting reports about that with prowlers, and not in just one area. We've been getting a lot of reports from different areas, and these are the areas that we've been getting to and tracking and finding more uh, the activity of the Bigfoots in these areas. And we're going to have a posting of that pretty soon. Um, as soon as we get all of the areas that we need, and then we're going to do some interviews um, with the surrounding people because this does affect the people here. It's not like we're going to some other place and scouting some other place. No, we're starting here at home. We have activity here in Antlers, Oklahoma. Um, and I've been tracking for around 2 years in this area, different locations, different places, getting to where I can when I can. But I have found Bigfoot activities and Bigfoots in most areas. And there was a and people always ask me, um, have I ever killed a Bigfoot? Am I going to kill a Bigfoot? Have I ever seen a Bigfoot? Where's the proof and all that? But yes, I have had Bigfoots in my scope. I have shot one time just to get two juveniles to back down, to get myself out of encircling situation, which, like this is one of the new Choctaw veteran jackets. Have been in those areas before, so it was just a warning shot to say that I do see you and don't try to surround me. When we talk about Bigfoot calls and things like that, we was joking, today in some conversations that has a Bigfoot ever yelled at us or our team? And the answer is no. Bigfoots would yell or try to frighten other people, but they know the body types. They know military. They know tactics. They know, and Bigfoots carry clubs. They carry spears, sharp sticks, jabbing long sticks, uh, canes, bags. We talked about this earlier, boxes and things like that. Um, but I have seen them personally. Most of the people who spend time with me see them because we do track a lot. Um, Friends are always invited as long as you bring your own weapons. We do take a little time with you to make sure you know how we move, what we're doing before we take you out with us. So you do have to do a crash course, kind of a training thing before we actually get you out with us. And we'll take you to another spot where we know that we can kind of practice with you real fast. It's not hard to do, but we just need you to move a certain way that we move, so it doesn't cause a disturbance and it doesn't pinpoint us. We're not trying to make any disturbances when we're out tracking and locating. We want to locate without being observed. And like in some of the stories that we did talk about, or I have posted on other channels about how stealthy we walk and how Bigfoots have actually walked up on us, but it was that we knew that they were coming, and the Bigfoots didn't know that we were there until they were close enough to hear us clear our throat, or at least clear my throat. And then there was another time I was surrounded. I was in a silhouette. A lot of people know about that story. um, and also that I've tracked in many areas, a lot of local areas, which I'm also showing other trackers these areas. I'm taking some uh, friends out in these local areas to show them the structures, the tracks, the prints, how fresh they are, and also documenting all this so that. But it's not just me; it's every one of our team. They're all doing the same thing in their areas. There's only a few of us in the close proximity, uh, but we do our tracking in our areas, and we send information out to each other daily. And everybody, please remember, this is not a channel for uh, really for conversations. This is more of a learning channel. This channel was developed for our team so that we could stay in communication with each other. I can update and give a lot of information as to our next expedition, who can go, who's in, and then after we do return from these expeditions, we do bring you the photos, the videos, the tracks, the prints, the Bigfoot photos and videos when we do have that. Uh, a lot of times we find just their caves, their dens. They've moved out right before us. They knew we were coming, but they moved out right before us. Uh, we've seen how fresh everything was, and we know that they do move out when they see us coming. So no, we've never had any of them yell at us because to us that's going on alert. Now we got a fixed position. Now we need to track. Now we need to find out and locate that sound. Um, so it looks like we got some comments here, but we really don't do comments here, not unless we do have a question and answer night. Uh, but we're just sharing information here for right now. A lot of the questions that if you do stay with this channel, you will answer your own questions. But I do have to say, like for me, because I know Bigfoots are real. I've seen them. I've seen other creatures. I know about giant snakes, paranormal. I was raised in a paranormal house. So when people talk about ghosts, spirits, or apparitions, or things like that, I'm always just keep talking, keep telling me about it because I know what you're talking about. But when people tend to not know about Bigfoots or know or have proof of Bigfoots and wants to somebody else or even tries to ridicule someone who's seen and knows themselves that Bigfoots are real, that when I hear people have these questions or trying to even cut jokes about it, I don't find it humorous, um, but to me, I was kind of like um, corrected today, I guess you would say, because I was saying that people are stupid. The people who don't know Bigfoots are real or have these, off the wall questions. Like one person wanted to know the bra size of a 22 female Bigfoot. Um, and there was just questions like that. It just irritates anybody, really, whenever someone who knows compared to someone who doesn't know. And if you do know, you don't want to hear questions like that. Now, if you have a question that's very important, life and death, has something to do with something that's going on right now at your house, those are the questions we want to help you with. Um, Lewis Noble. So we've got a couple of comments here. Let's see what they are. It says Lewis Noble says, "What is the best way to communicate with Bigfoot?" you seem to be a new person with this channel. Um, let's see. Looks like we have a Russian guest. I'm not sure of the language. I mean, I do know it's Russian, but I don't know the meaning unless I was to break it down. And we did talk about how to break languages down. And so Lewis Noble also has another, maybe it's another question. It says, where do you think the difference in understanding of Bigfoot come from? As we have people who have a positive understanding of them with over 7 years of communication, and people who have a very negative opinion and experiences. Uh, Lewis, these to me, these are like you can go to other channels. Uh, I know that you haven't been here before because we do have regular viewers, I guess you would say. And all these questions, they're just maybe you could go to one of the other Bigfoot channels and ask questions like this, but this is mostly of a learning channel. Um, and like some of the viewers who have been here for quite a while, um, they would know that some of the like the best way to communicate with a Bigfoot. We know you do not communicate, and we just talked about that yesterday. Do not communicate with any predators. Do not get a connection with them. And yet today we have what's the best way to communicate. So I'm just saying that you need to stay with the channel. We go over bits and pieces daily. We're just getting out of the field. We're getting more things, the best that we can right now because of the time that we have. We've got the next couple of days very busy, and the slowest time I think we'll have is around Sunday, maybe Monday. But we also may be going to another spot then. So I would just recommend that we, um, and I don't want to say start again, but um, I'm going to try to get The Legend of Time. I don't know if you ever heard about that, Lewis. It's called The Legend of Time. It's a story that you have to know that story to know about the Bigfoot. If you don't know the story of The Legend of Time, I mean, we can explain it in different ways, but it would never really truly make sense until you knew that story. Um, I may have to get that read again at some period in time, but today we were just talking about some of the characteristics, and also like I was talking about whenever I was saying that when people ask for proof and things like that, and at the longest time I was saying people must be really stupid, and then just the other day, or I think it was the other day, that I think the guy on How to Hunt said that people would have to be pretty dumb to not know that these things are real, which I agreed. But then another friend told me that people aren't stupid, they're just ignorant to the fact of the truth that Bigfoots are real. So, and kind of step back and say, okay, I'll take that people are ignorant, of the truth that Bigfoot are real. I will take that because I guess stupid would be that, that they knew but they don't, or um, would believe, even if they like seen it but they didn't believe. So we're gonna stick with the word that people are ignorant to the fact that Bigfoot and the big feet are real. So that's what we're going to have to stand on right now. Lewis Noble, let's see, he put two more up, and then I think we're going to close so I can get some other things done. I'm working on a couple more projects, and we still gotta get to the track. We're still busy, so we're also going to be shooting for tomorrow night to finish um, some information about the tracking that we have been doing and will be doing, and that the people who are coming in. Um, let's see. Lewis Noble says a big believer from Scotland. So my personal experience is limited, but I'm very happy to learn from yourself. I'm very happy to learn from yourself. We will be giving up, and we've got a lot to cover. We have to also with the Legend of Time. We have to go back over astrology, which I'll be doing the astrology session, the healing session. I'll show you how to read some hieroglyphs, where the Bigfoot is in the hieroglyphs. We did have to start over, and then we had to take some time because we were tracking out of state at the request of some friends. We've been back, but we've been tracking around other areas here. So we have been very busy, and yesterday was the first night back. Tonight is the second night. I just wanted to try to get everybody back into the rhythm of 7 o'clock. So it's going to be like this for a couple of nights, but don't hold me to that. Like I said beforehand, because sometimes it's the spur of the moment that we have to go track. Somebody may give us a call about prowlers that we will have to go track and locate. So let's see, Joe Blow. Hey Joe, I guess you're on your way home. Joe's always uh, an avid listener, and I believe he listens on his way home. But Joe Blow says, I believe that you covered that on the November 7th one of your previous programs. What else? Do you just go back and look it up? That's what I do. That's what I do. So, Lewis, Joe Blow has given you the information that if you go back to the November 7th program or the November 7th show, your answers are in that show. And this is just to see if you will go back and look for it and do your homework and do your research and try to get that. Because a lot of people who do come into the show or the program, well, not the program, but the show, I would say, who come in later, always ask certain questions that we've already covered. These streams, I believe, the last 10 stay up for a short period of time. So if you do just come on to the first time, or if this is one of your frequent, check-ins, always go back and try to get as many of the past programs and watch those. Um, it's not that those questions are not important. It's just that we've already covered them, and it's just a repeat and a repeat and repeat. So those programs, those shows are still up and can be viewed, and I would recommend that you do view those, learn from those, and come back and catch up to where we're at. Uh, and if it is a question that is not in one of those um, live streams, then we can get to those and answer them, or we will get to those and answer them in the sequence that we're doing right now. So we will have to do some astrology. I need to get everybody. Um, to be able to read the stars and the hieroglyphs. We did have a group before here beforehand who we had to stop and we had to go back because we was deciphering the Fibonacci sequence. We was going over hieroglyphs. We was teaching ancient symbols. We was writing in languages, writing in symbols and hieroglyphs. And then when people came on to the channel after not being on the channel or not going back and viewing the other videos, tried to come in and you could tell that it wasn't going to work. Um, the group that we had before this, who are some are team members now, and some are active um, viewers who can answer these questions. And sometimes, whenever people ask certain questions, I'll just let some of the people who's already viewed or have been viewing to answer those questions because I know that they know those. And it just saves me a little time for them to answer that while I continue with what we're doing or what we're teaching for that day. Um, Lewis Noble says, "Will do, mate. Thank you." And Lewis also says, "I can understand how frustrating that must be, to be honest." Well, it's not like frustrating. It's more like if you do a little research, you can answer your own question. As far as go back a video or two or three, but the best thing is do is go back and see how many videos you can get to and watch those. And if you can do that consecutively, it would be even better because we have been going in sequence. And that would help you, and also you would answer your own question because we have answered quite a bit. But I'm going to close tonight. I'm going to, I've got, like I said, I got a couple things I'm working on right now. I want to finish those tonight so I can, get everything out of the way, get everything ready for the other trackers who are coming in the next day or so. And I have, I believe, another tracker coming in on the weekend. And I also still need to go and visit with Bigfoot. If you were here from yesterday, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. Bigfoot is a friend, I guess you would say, but not the predator one. This is a guy who is, his name is Keith Keith Crabtree, and he played Bigfoot in the movie The Legend of Boggy Creek. And I just want to visit with him and share some information, and also speak with him about information and maybe do some tracking or something like that in that area. But we will be back tomorrow night. We will have more updates and we will catch everybody up on where we're at, what we're doing. But it has been a long day, and we will be having a question and answer night uh, very soon. Maybe Friday or maybe Monday. And that would be a great question and answer night, Lewis, if you're around on that time. Joe, I know that you probably can't ask questions because you'll be driving. But maybe when you get home or wherever before you even leave, maybe you could type in a question to send in when you're on the road. One little push, you know what I mean? Don't be trying to drive and text at the same time. Enjoy the music, Joe. If you're on that road still home. All right, everybody. Have a great night. Tomorrow night at 7 o'clock again. We will come back. So everybody have a great night. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central Time Zone.